Hello all. Am I audible to all? So we'll wait for 2 more minutes and then I'll start with the topic like modified stop and chop for beginners. And I'll be presenting a video of 5 minutes. Then we can start with the discussion part. And I would request that this is not a formal meeting, rather this is a informal meeting. So I would request everybody to participate. I mean, ask questions and we can just discuss on different aspects, whatever difficulties you face while doing FACO. So it would be better if we are vocal about our problems because everybody is here to learn, including myself. Because I may be wrong at certain things, so you are there to correct me also. So we'll wait for just 2 more minutes and then we can start with our class. We have 22 participants right now, and we'll just wait for 2 more minutes, and so that we can have good time to discuss also. So I would want people should share their difficulties, their experience while doing FACO, and what technique do they follow while doing FACO surgeries, and what are their uh, apprehensions or whatever problems they face. They should just be, uh, I mean, you should be open to that, and we can discuss it further. And we will make this class. Informal, it's not a formal meeting. So again I'm saying be vocal about your problems so that we all can learn. And since it is a corona time, so people are asking for Zoom link. Give me 2 minutes, I'll just be back. Link. So can you see my screen? Yes. So to start with, I'm presenting a video which is an old video plus a new video. So old video has got a voiceover. So the total duration of the video is 5 minutes. So we'll be talking about modified stop and chop the technique. So why this technique? I always find that this technique is quite useful for beginners who are learning FACO. And in divide and conquer and modified stop and chop, it is like you are, I mean, in divide and conquer also, you face a lot of struggle. You make a deep trench and then you divide it mechanically. And stop and chop is more like, I mean, in between of divide and conquer or direct chop, you can say in a way. So modified stop and chop, why I always say in my video is because Here you make a small and deep trench, and then you have a ample substance in front to hold. You don't have to make a long trench. You have to make just a small, but it should be a deep trench. Why deep? Because when you're making a deep trench, you have dealt with the maximum part, I mean, the maximum thickness of the nucleus in between. You've already made that nucleus weak. So the next thing which is important is that you just need to hold that nucleus. And once you are able to hold that nucleus, it becomes very easy to crack that nucleus. All you have to do is just to bury your chopper, and just you have to do that sideways movement, and that nucleus will crack. So the most important part after making that small and deep channel is just holding the nucleus. And after burying that chopper, it becomes pretty easy, except for those brown leathery and hard cataracts. So the second part of the video, it is a not a brown cataract but a pretty hard cataract. But again, I have shown that you just have to go on creating smaller pieces, and once you have created maximum pieces, one of the pieces actually lifts up. You don't have to worry whether your crack is extending posteriorly in all the pieces or not. Even if in some pieces, if you are managed to crack that piece till the posterior plate, just rotate your nucleus, create on just go on creating different pieces. And once you have created 6 to 8 pieces, one of the pieces will definitely lift up in the central safe zone, and you can just crack it further. So we'll start with the video presentation now. Technique I usually follow in all my cases except for Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about modified stop and chop, especially for beginners. And this is the technique I usually follow in all my cases except for very soft cataract, wherein I just try and do phaco aspiration if possible. But for all cataracts, be it grade 2, grade 3, or even a harder cataract, modified stop and chop is a better technique. So in this case, I will be discussing about the details of modified stop and chop and how it is different from stop and chop. So in stop and chop, what you do is you make a trench and then you divide it mechanically with the help of phaco probe and chopper, or maybe two instruments like chopper and dialer, and then you rotate and you have two halves left, and then each half you bury your phaco probe in foot position 3, and then come to foot position 2, and then you try maintain that hold, and then you crack, and then you get pieces which you emulsify later on. So in this case, I would be showing what was different, and as you can see that I am making Rexis in this case, and it is always easy, I feel, with your Tratas to make Rexis rather than with Cystitome, because it is more controlled. And just in case if you land up with any peripheral extension, it is always easy with the help of Utratas to just pull it inside. So now with this, I injected Visco in the anterior chamber, and now I'll be taking the phaco probe inside the anterior chamber. And look here, I'm dialing the nucleus, and the settings in phaco 1 are like phaco is power is around 50, and vacuum around 80 to 100, aspiration is around 26. And then you have to make a small and deep trench. And why small? Because then you have ample length material in front to hold. So see, I'm making this trench, but it's not too long, but a short trench, and I'll be making it deep so that the glow is visible from behind. And as you can see, I'm almost done with my tunnel. The tunnel is small and deep to appreciate the glow. Now you put ample lens material in front, and after pulling, make a crack. And so this is what is different from your conventional stop and chop. And now again, I'm holding the pieces and breaking it into, and see, these are soft pieces. And what you have to do, you have to go to foot position 3 in phaco 2 and come to foot position 2, maintain that hold and then crack. So the trench part is in phaco 1 and the holding part is in phaco 2. The phaco 2 settings are power again around 50 to 60. Your aspiration is around 36 and vacuum is between 300 to 400. I usually prefer keeping the vacuum at 400. And when you have made these 3 to 4 pieces or maybe 6 pieces, then these are very soft pieces. It is easy to emulsify. And as you can see that this is a totally unedited video. And as I have highlighted in all my previous videos also, if you do all steps of the surgery fine, slowly also still is very fast. So this is again a second video which I have included in this presentation. You can see it is a hard cataract, not that brown cataract. again, if you notice here, the trench is not crossing the midline. And whenever you are making a trench, you should be careful that you're not pushing the nucleus too much. If you are pushing the nucleus too much, probably your power is inadequate. You need to increase your power, because if your power is inadequate, you would be just pushing the nucleus. Now you can see I am holding this, and just burying the chopper does the job. So if you have dealt with that central part, you just bury the chopper and separate it sideways, you can see that the crack is done. So you don't have to actually see most of the times in many of your cases whether the crack is actually full thickness extending to the periphery, because most of the time it is, except for those brown and leathery cataracts. And even here, see, the crack is not just extending towards the periphery, but again it went there. And now when you created those 6 to 8 pieces, it becomes actually easy to lift those pieces into the central safe zone, and then you can emulsify those pieces into the central safe zone, and you should inject visco as and when required. So this is a technique which I feel, before actually, if you are starting phaco with divide and conquer, that is again a good technique. But if you are going for a direct chop or something, you should go for the modified stop and chop before. And in Chitrakoot also, we used to train our fellows with modified stop and chop in every case, starting from the beginning. So this is the last point where I am just focusing, is that you don't have to move your phaco probe to follow that last point. Rather, you can just with the chopper, you can just bring that last point in front of your phaco probe, and you can just emulsify. So this was about the technique modified stop and chop, where in phaco 1 the settings were uh, hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about modified stop and chop, especially for beginners. And this is the technique I usually follow in all my cases, except for very soft cataract, wherein I just try and do phaco aspiration if possible. But for all cataracts, be it grade 2, grade 3,
Just to stop the screen sharing, it will go.
modified stop and chop is a better technique. So in this case, I will be discussing about the details of modified stop and chop and how it is different from stop and chop. So in stop and chop, what you do is you make a trench and then you divide it mechanically with the help of phaco probe and chopper, or maybe two instruments like chopper and dialer, and then you rotate and you have two halves left. The and video is running somewhere. Half, you bury your phaco probe in foot position 3, and then come to foot position 2, and then you try.
If you stop screen sharing, it will go.
Crack, and then you get pieces which you emulsify later on. So in this case, I would be. Yeah. So this was about the technique where in phaco 1 the settings were vacuum around 100, phaco power around 50, aspiration 26, and in phaco 2 the power was again around 50 to 60 depending upon the hardness of nucleus. Vacuum was around 400. Usually I keep it at 400, and aspiration around 36. And the main portion, the main point that you have to look is that after making that small and deep trench, you have to learn to maintain that hold. And once you learn to maintain that hold, the only job is that you have to bury that chopper just in front of the phaco probe, because mostly I'm a fan of vertical chop. I usually don't do a horizontal chop in any of my case, because horizontal chop, I fear myself because I'm going under the capsule and I might injure the rhexis margin. I may create a PCR. So except for hard brown cataracts, which you get in many of our cases, initially for beginners, even at times, I myself go for SICS in such cases, because for me, it is the vision which we have to give to the patient rather than the technique which we talk about, it's phaco or SICS. So it's more about the vision that we have to give to our patient. So in such cases, you can always go for SICS, and SICS do give us surprises. In patients, I still remember one of the patient I operated just a month back, and I told her that you might get a cylinder of 1.5 or 2, because I usually get it as such in my cases of SICS in many of my cases. And to my surprise, she just got zero point 0.5 cylinder after doing SICS in a hard brown cataract. So most of the times you have to judge which case is perfect for SICS and for phaco. And with even with grade 3, grade 4 cases, vertical chop does a very good job rather than horizontal chop. And a very hard black cataract, bound cataract, my advice to all surgeons would be go for SICS. Yes. Now the house is open for question and answers. You can just ask if you have any queries. You can correct me if I'm wrong somewhere. I would love to learn. So let's discuss. You can unmute yourself and you can ask questions if you want. Acha, I need to unmute. Just hold on. Uh, do I need to unmute?
No need, sir. No need. It's working.
Okay. Yeah. Neha, as you said, how to make sure that you're not applying much pressure during breathing is like if you while making a trench, while your bevel is up, if your nucleus is getting shifted to one side, probably your power is inadequate. Whenever you are making a trench, your bevel should be up, and that should be like effortless, right? Whenever you are making a trench, your nucleus shouldn't get shifted to one side. If your power is inadequate and you're shifting the nucleus to one side, probably you are causing a stress on zonules. And more so in patients with myopia, which has got weak zonules, you might end up creating a zonular dialysis in such cases. And myopic patients, generally, most of them I have encountered that if the patient is young, it is fine. But high myopic patients at old age, they generally have a hard brown cataract. So just yeah. So dialer and chopper, I would suggest, like a lot of people ask me which chopper you are using. To me, it doesn't matter which chopper I'm using. I've ordered many choppers, but basically we were using Agarwal chopper. I have no financial interest in that. Agarwal chopper I'm using in most of my cases. But the point is with chopper, if you're going for a vertical chop, right? The tip is sharp, but with a peripheral chop, the tip is blunt, but the inner edge is sharp. So what I say in grade 2, 3, even with dialer, there is one video on YouTube where I have shown even with harder cataracts, if your hold is correct, even you can crack the nucleus with the help of a dialer itself.
And for initial trench, sir, we should use only torsional, not longitudinal. Longitudinal should be off. If you have a torsional phaco machine,
Yeah.
Longitudinal should not be there. It should be at 0. Torsional. That helps the nucleus will not move.
Yes. So what is the difference between stop
Hello.
and yeah?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Yes, I wanted to ask. Last time when I had been given one case. So it was a nucleus sclerosis grade 3. After trenching, sir, I could see there are like while dividing, it was very difficult to divide in the first trench because all leathery fibers were there, and deeper the nucleus was more denser than what we had seen few days before on a slit lamp. So, sir, then
yeah.
So sir, then according to you, like which technique should have been better?
No. Does somebody wants to answer this question? Ravi, do you want to answer this?
Sir, if you are a beginner, I advise to go for SICS for leathery cataract. And on slit lamp, it is very difficult to.
She said that was a grade 3 nucleus.
But that slit lamp analysis, slit lamp judgment, I most of the time it will be wrong. I usually go by the age and other eye condition.
Anybody?
And if it.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, Ravi, continue.
I prefer to go with the SICS in the steep axis, incision on the steep axis. Otherwise, if you are on the table, if you are filing it, you inject more of visco, come out with the 2 instruments, you divide it.
So with those 2 instruments, you mean 2 dialers?
It can be 2 dialers, one chopper and dialer, whatever it is. Sometimes visco needle, one hand, and another hand dialer, I do it.
And sir, by crossing the dialer, will it be easier on zonules, or by directly separating it with two, like one dialer is separating one piece and another rather than crossing it over and separating.
Both are same. Make sure that your both forces are equal. You are equally stressing on the both sides.
Okay.
Thank you, Ravi, for your comments. Now I want to add 2 points. Right. See, you were not able to crack. Right. There are only 2 reasons for that. Either your trench wasn't deep enough. Right. And the second point is that maybe your hold was not good. And
Okay.
what I can judge is that your trench was not deep enough. So what is the criteria? How much trench, how much depth do you go for while making a trench?
You should be able to see the red glow, na sir? A thin red glow.
Red glow or 90% of the thickness you should be able to, 80 to 90% of the thickness you should be able to deal with the trench. And I would share here, like when I was learning FECO almost 7, 8 years back or maybe more, I always felt however deep you go, you cannot create a PCR while making a trench. And I did PCR in 2 of my cases. Then I learned that you have to be careful there also. So the only thing that why you face this problem is what I can perceive is that your trench was inadequate. Even I at times misjudge in many of my cases. When I make a trench and then when I go and hold and crack, I see that the central portion is still very thick. The trench isn't deep. I still go back to FECO 1, create my trench again, and then I do the crack again. So 2 reasons. The trench wasn't good. Maybe you should be more deep. And second is probably the hold may not be good. But here I would just say the trench wasn't deep enough to have that crack.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes even if the trench is deep, but the tip of the dialer is not deep enough. While cracking, while separation, we have to be in the full depth of the trench while separating. I personally feel. If you are superficial, there is a diagram like you are instead of cracking, separating the pieces away. In fact, the forces are getting the posterior part together. If you are superficial and if you try to crack it, so you have to be in the depth of the trench.
Yes. And I feel at times what happens is for the beginners, when we maintain that hold and then we go and bring our chopper to crack, what happens is our main focus goes for the chopper and then we actually release that hold. So it's like
Which come to the position 1.
yeah, actually it's like we get quite I mean it's a kind of we are in a hurry. As soon as we get that sound of hold, we take our chopper to chop, but by the time the chopper is there, the hold is already gone. So in the process of learning FECO, you have to adjust yourself that you're not accustomed to that sound. You are accustomed to that technique because we never do FECO listening to that sound. I just go inside, foot position 3, there is a emulsification. I straight away come to foot position 2 and I expect that my hold is already there. I am not focusing on the sound. So you have to learn this whenever you go to FECO 2, foot position 3, bury yourself inside, bury the probe inside the nucleus, straight away come to 2. Don't focus on the sound of occlusion every time. As a beginner, that may be a hint, but you will also realize over a period of time that sound is immaterial. You don't focus on those sound. I straight away go to foot position 3, bury my FECO probe, straight away come to 2, and you can actually wait for 2-3 seconds just to see whether that hold is there, because I have shown in many of my videos that is an unedited video and that is not a slow video which I have edited. That I specifically showed that see I am maintaining that hold. And these are some of the 3-4 crucial steps of the surgery. One is rhexis, second is a small and deep trench if you are doing a modified stop and chop, and third is a hold. If you have learned these 3 steps, trust me, you won't find any difficulty doing the FECO surgery. And one thing I would like to add is like, it should be like, you should not be you should be a confident surgeon while doing a FECO, and obviously not an overconfident surgeon, because you need a certain amount of confidence also to do that FECO. And once that confidence is there, you will always do well. Anybody
Hello,
else?
good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, which is the most safest and the best technique for grade 4 cataract?
Grade 4 cataract, again, I would like, I have always be, see, there are two techniques. Even if you go by theory, people say direct chop is a good technique. Even every
Yeah.
technique, even if you go for a direct chop or divide and conquer or modified stop and chop, everything works good except for those brown, hard, leathery cataract, which require a
Yeah.
lot of experience with everyone. Even if and if you go by theory also and by studies also, the risk of complications are always high in grade 4 brown or black cataracts, right? So I
Yeah.
usually prefer doing modified stop and chop in such cases because the central part I have already created a, crater, right? So I've dealt with
Yeah.
that central part. So now the peripheral part is remaining. So I
Yeah.
get a lot of, and those hard cataracts, sometimes you get, if the patient is having a thrust also, sometimes the anxious patients, they give a lot of thrust also. So while you
Yeah.
create that crater, you get a space in NTA chamber to work also. In cases of more thrust, this is advantageous also. And when you have dealt with the central part, probably you have that, there is less portion to crack also, and you can actually watch the whole crack also going posteriorly along the posterior plate. And even if it is not going posteriorly along the posterior plate, you have made that trench, you have made that central crater, you've tried for the first crack. The first crack you see is superficial, it hasn't gone to the posterior plate. Rotate your nucleus to 180 degrees, again try that crack. And when you have tried that crack of 180 degrees apart, probably that crack will go posteriorly also, and you will get smaller pieces one by one. So whenever you have a hard grade 4 cataract, just try to have 6 or maybe 8 pieces and instill visco very often, because these are the cases which will obviously require more of energy to get emulsified.
Yes, sir. Sir, is there any technique to identify to and understand that our trench depth is adequate in case of grade 4 cataracts?
Yeah,
Always my problem is initial crack. I usually do stop and chop, and with the first crack is my problem. In always in mature cataracts, I face the first crack is very difficult for me.
no, the trench obviously you, I mean, you should be able to appreciate the red glow. That is the one of the best criterias to have that. I mean, how much depth should be there. And if you're not able to get that crack, probably the, see, these all things come by experience also. So if you are a beginner, I would suggest to have, I mean, search for these things first in a grade 2 and 3 cataract. Once you become confident, then go for grade 4, maybe brown cataract. Even today, if it is a brown or black cataract, I counsel the patient more for SICS rather than phaco.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else? So you can just add to it. I mean, you can just write to me personally also. Was this presentation useful? Do you want us to continue or me to continue with these classes? We can have these classes once a week or maybe twice a week if lockdown is there. So we can always have these classes and we can talk on different aspects of phacoemulsification surgery. But what I would want in return is, if you guys, somebody has their own recording, you can present, because the difficulties which you faced, it would be better to discuss on that video. So Dr. Chintan from Mumbai, he has volunteered to present his phaco surgery probably in the next class on Sunday 9 p.m. We would be planning another class, and Dr. Chintan would be presenting his phaco surgery. What he told me on WhatsApp was the difficulty he faced in the rotation of nucleus after hydrodissection. So we can have a discussion on hydrodissection and hydrodelineation, and especially in PPC cases, what you guys do, what I do. So we can have that next discussion on Sunday 9 p.m. and we will try to make this class for half an hour, because then it becomes okay. So Dr. Goswami has said that difficulty in rotating nucleus sometimes after phaco is there. So Dr. Goswami will be discussing that on Sunday evening at 9 p.m. So we would talk more about discussion of hydro and hydro delineation, its technique. So Dr. Chintan from Mumbai would be presenting his video, and probably if time permits, I can also present my video. And if somebody wants to add something about today's class or maybe the future topics they want, so it would help me and others also to design and to present cases accordingly.
So, hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. So, I want to know about how do we deal with the soft cataract? Actually, these time we are getting more and more PSCs also in our institute. So
Okay.
sometimes we try doing the trenching, and after that, if I try to hold the piece after rotating 180 degree, I create a crater in center.
No,
So
soft.
please,
You are. Sorry to interrupt you in between. You are totally right.
okay.
Soft cataract is one cataract where the patient presents to you with 6/9, 6/12 vision. His vision is
Yes,
good,
sir.
and that cataracts become very tricky if you don't manage it properly, because you end up making a crater. That is the
Yes, sir.
only cataract where I don't do a modified stop and chop technique. So next Wednesday at 9 p.m. we would be discussing soft cataract, how to deal with a soft cataract. And soft cataract,
Okay.
if you just go by, I will be telling few techniques. If you just go by those techniques, I assure you in most of the cases you won't face a problem. But if you go and
Okay.
try and hold such soft cataract, whatever, I mean, you just end up making a crater. And in those cases, if your rhexis is small, then that
Yes, sir.
becomes a case which has a potential to land up in complications. So first rule I'm telling here is you have to make a larger rhexis in a soft cataract. Rest we will discuss on next Wednesday 9 p.m.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Ravi, do you want to add something?
Can I share one screen here? I mean, video
Yeah, sure. We have time.
for today's this thing. Just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Host has disabled me for screen sharing. Can you?
Just wait. Uh-huh. Share now.
Yes, sir. In continuation of today's this thing, uh, can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, that is visible.
This is the only torsional. This is the initial trench. I learned it in Sadhguru Netra Chikitsalaya only. I follow the same technique for all the cases. This is only torsional, no longitudinal. You can go as much as deep you want. That you should go. It is a mature like a cataract. Now I am not seeing red glow, but my phaco tip is totally going inside it 1.5 times. That shows it is quite deep. This is how I do it. And then this is one more case with a little intumescent and mature cataract. The initial trench should be very deep and slightly wider. If it should not be too wide, otherwise it will be very difficult for you to make two halves. Now the posteriorly you can see the glow. Now I go and divide it. That's it, sir. Thank you.
Nicely demonstrated, Ravi. But I would like to add that this is the technique which I follow in my soft cataract, which I would be showing on next Wednesday. This is the
Okay.
perfect technique to do in a soft cataract. Do not try and hold them, because if you try and hold them, they will create a crater. And you will end up having a greater difficulty in handling such cases. And if the patient is very young, if the patient is actually very young and it's just a PSC, so nothing is required, just a good rhexis, do hydrodissection, hydrodelineation.
Everything.
What happens is the everything expulses out into the central safe zone. and all you require is phaco aspiration, no power, nothing. So next time I'll show that these cases, if it is a young patient, say a 35-year-old patient, maybe a myopic patient, has just PSC, you just require a rhexis, you do hydrodissection, hydrodelineation, both. The whole nucleus and cortex, they are such fluffy, they all expel out into the central safe zone. All you require is aspiration, nothing else. And you
I don't
require
even
power
use
in such cases.
phaco handpiece. I don't even use phaco handpiece. I use the AC maintainer and remove it. I have a video. I can show it if there is a time next week.
Yeah. Next Wednesday we'll have that video also. But since I'm more used to phaco probe,
Yes, sir.
I do it with phaco probe because AC maintainer and that will take more time. So phaco probe again, with phaco probe again, it is not a problem because you are having
Yes,
that phaco probe into the central safe zone and that is quite away from the capsule. And with good machines, these days every machine has that chamber stability. There isn't a surge problem with many of the machines. So
correct.
even phaco aspiration is a good choice with the phaco probe. So Khushbu has said any particular tips on wood construction we will discuss in another class, Khushbu. Yes.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. We all can hear you. Please go ahead with your question.
Sir, my question is regarding decision of phaco in the hypermature cataracts. Like sometimes we get very soft cataract. Even with the age, I realize sometimes it is grade 3 and we are easily able to divide it. But sometimes it is too leathery and we find that we are, stuck inside. So is there anything that help us to decide that?
No, the first and
Hope
foremost
you
No,
got
my personal criteria is age of the patient. If the patient is say around 80 years, I offer him SICS. If the patient is
Yes.
around 50, 55 years, I go ahead with phaco. And
but sometimes patients 65, 70 and you feel on stilfenam you find you might get it is seems to be grade 3 and you will be able to crack. But sometimes it is very leathery and you find yourself stuck.
I totally agree. After that fluid is gone, even with those leathery cataracts, you feel that nucleus rotates a lot inside the bag. Even when you are making a trench, when you are trying to crack. But see, those are the cases. See, what happens is when you emulsify, when that fluid is gone, right? The size of the nucleus is small as compared to the bag. Because the fluid part is gone.
But they are very leathery to break. They are very leathery to break.
That is what I'm coming to that. See, after that fluid is gone, the leathery cataract is there. So this is one case where you can try horizontal chop. Right. So just go make a deep trench, hold, and then you try a horizontal chop in such cases. Why? Because the nucleus part is smaller than the bag itself. Because certain part of the bag was occupied by the fluid.
But it is not always there, sir. Sometimes there is, it's not a fluidy cataract. It is a hard hypermature cataract, but it's not even there are fluid pockets, but not pure fluidy cataract.
Hypermature means that there is a liquefied cortex. Hypermature cataract by definition means that there is a
sometimes
liquefied cortex. No, I agree. See that.
Sometimes there are fluffy cataracts having hard nucleus, and on slit lamp because they are so wide, you cannot appreciate the grading of the nucleus. This is my question.
I totally agree with you. With hypermature cataracts, sometimes they are so soft that you just bury the probe to get cracked. They are so brittle. And sometimes they are leathery and hard. But then there is the point where our expertise and where our experience and where our teachings has to come into existence, and we have to take care as per the case. And every case is different. I agree that we do encounter leathery brown cataract.
Not always, but out of 10, if you are okay with 9, there comes a problem with the 10.
Yes. No, I would say 3 out of 10 have that leathery cataract. I would say 3 out of 10 would have that leathery cataract. So, as Dr. Khushbu Shah has also said that after the fluid is gone, equator of the nucleus can be approached while staying away from the bag. So that is what I also feel, because the the actual nucleus is smaller than the bag size, and that is one case where you can actually try a horizontal chop.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. The Zoom had a limit of 40 minutes, but I got a message that your time limit has been extended. Dr. Vyas sir is a very senior surgeon. He's also with us. And sir, please give your inputs for the meeting and how did you find this?
आशीष अभी तक तो तुम अपने YouTube पे वीडियो से काफी you are trying to teach people, and I would say you are a wonderful phaco surgeon, and more I'll add this thing that you are a wonderful teacher also.
Thank you, sir.
बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो आशीष तुम, for the benefit these budding phaco surgeons, I would say, and all the best.
Thank you, sir.
I'm speechless.
Sir, to add, sir has always supported me. Sir also visited Chitrakoot, and since then we had a so good relation. Sir is a ex chief medical officer of Ujjain, और मैं इनको शेर बोलता हूँ हमेशा क्योंकि ये हमेशा शेर की बातें करते हैं. The idea of this class was to have a very informal meeting, not a formal meeting. Even I could make mistakes. I am also learning at this stage. If somebody feels that I am doing wrong, please correct me. And I would love to learn. And this lockdown actually has given us time to interact with each other more. So if somebody wants to add something, so we can continue or we can just end this meeting now. Chintan, you want to add something?
We had a great discussion and it was nice to listen to views of different people.
So
Great
Sunday
learning.
you are presenting your video, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be doing that. Yes, sir.
Aditi, you want to add something? Aditi? So I guess we will end this meeting and do share your feedbacks on WhatsApp. You can just message me how we could just further improve these classes. And we hope to continue this on a longer term basis. So good night. Thank you all for attending this class and we'll meet on Sunday 9 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, Ashish.
अब तुम बहुत परेशान करने लगते हो.